Chapter 2, Calling All Cuckoos. My dad laughed when he read the rules, Sage said, putting her scarlet hoodie in her backpack. He says it's hilarious that we can't use cell phones or computers. But don't assume we can't do anything without the internet, Mari asked. There was a snap as she finished twisting a rubber band around her braid. I can't believe I have to leave my camera behind, Deb said with a sigh. Even worse, I had to trade it in for an Amcam. That isn't even a cool name. What is it? A combination of an animal and a camera? He was complaining his ultra-advanced camera to the tiny device that all the contestants had received that afternoon. This thing doesn't even have a decent telephoto lens. We're going to have to get super close to get our shots. The Amcam was a digital camera and a walkie-talkie combo made just for the race. All the race devices were set up to call only one number, the Wildlife Hotline. Teams could use it to contact the race organizers to get new clues, or if they got into trouble. The organizers used the device to send maps or other information to the contestants. At least the Amcam is fair, Mari said. All the teams have the same stuff. And cell phones wouldn't get a signal in the Amazon anyway, Russell reminded them. If they did, Deb chimed in, I bet the green team would be calling their mommies every 5 minutes. Everyone laughed, even Russell. He could tell that Deb had just picked a team at random to make fun of. Deb wasn't trying to be mean, just funny. Russell hadn't told his new teammates that he was friends with everyone on the green team. Now, definitely did not seem like the right time. The funny thing about Deb's joke was that Dallas's mom had this awesome tech job. Her company made cutting-edge phones and other smart devices. Dallas's home was full of cool stuff. If anyone would have a way of contacting his mom from the Amazon, it was Dallas. Now, the 4 members of the red team were in the middle of packing their bags. The wildlife started the next day. They'd carry only a backpack during the race. The organizers would take the rest of their stuff to the next stop, so it would be waiting for them. Marcia and Javier headed up the wildlife clothing and supply crew, and they were in the red team's bunkhouse advising the team on their wardrobe and gear. Y'all all need to take a red backpack and a red rain poncho, Marcia said, but picking the rest is up to you. You get 20 pieces in all. Each team member could choose from a whole rack of athletic clothes and shoes. Since they were the red team, everything was in the same shade of red. Is it good or bad that we're red? Russell asked. We won't be camouflaged. Other teams will be totally be able to spot us. I'm not worried about getting lost, Mari replied. If we get lost, really lost, a bright red poncho won't help at all. What do we do then? Well, don't get lost, Sage said in a matter-of-fact tone. We have to stick together. That's good advice, Javier said with a laugh. But Mari, Deb, and Russell all glanced at one another. It wasn't as if they were going to get lost on purpose. If you do lose track of the team, you could use one of these, Javier offered, holding up something that looked like a kazoo. He put it to his lips, and out came a sound that seemed to be half laugh and half squawk. Javier blew again, and the old, odd musical chuckle repeated. Oh, is that the call of a squirrel cuckoo bird? Mari asked. Javier blinked several times and then stared at Mari. He looked down at the wooden instrument. Paella Cayana, he read out loud. Oh yeah, I think that's the scientific name for squirrel cuckoo, said Mari. Javier turned the instrument in his hand. He rubbed his fingers over a carving on the other side. What do you know? Squirrel cuckoo, he read. What? Deb questioned. I thought the squirrel and the cuckoo bird were 2 totally different animals. Mari, how'd you know that? I don't know, she responded. I probably saw it on TV or something. It has a very distinct call. She didn't look up, but instead investigated a number of tank tops, running her fingertips along the seams. Russell joined Mari when she moved to the table with the shoe options. Do you want sports sandals? Did he want sports sandals that would get wet? Hiking boots for protection? Or running shoes for speed? What shoes are you guys getting? He asked. We need 2 pairs, Sage said, because they'll get wet and there's nothing worse than wet feet. Russell sighed. Sage had no problem giving advice. He reached for a pair of sandals like the ones he had worn last year. Don't even think about choosing something that doesn't not have closed toes, Sage added. There are roots sticking out of the rainforest floor, creepy crawlies, piranhas. You get the idea. Russell quickly angled his hand toward a pair of running shoes and some rubber boots. Next, he checked out the extra gear, ropes, climbing belts, and a whittling knife. The four made their final selections, and Marcia and Javier packed up the remaining clothes and shoes. Bye, Red Team. See you at the send-off, Marcia said, waving. Here you go, said Javier, placing a squirrel cuckoo call in the palm of each kid's hand. On the house. Good luck, guys. Dev locked the bunk door and looked at his watch. 12 hours, he said. 12 hours and our lives will change forever. Russell glanced at the two photos he had put in the outer pocket of his backpack. One was him and his big sister with their parents. The other was Russell with Dallas, Damien, Jaden, and Gabe. Russell didn't have to wait a single hour. Some things about his life had already changed. Russell's brain still felt blurry despite the fact that Sage had blown the squirrel cuckoo whistle over an hour earlier. Russell didn't need an hour to get ready. He needed more sleep. If Sage didn't chill out, she would drive him cuckoo. The jungle was alive with chirps and squawks, but the contestants were all silent. The morning mist lingered in the tops of the trees, sheltering the forest floor from the sun. Russell glanced at his teammates. He hoped they were ready. Hey, dude! Russell turned toward the hushed voice and saw Dallas standing next to him. His friend had on a pair of deep green cargo pants and a gray swim shirt with green on the shoulders. I just wanted to say have a good race. We're all rooting for you. Thanks, man, Russell said. He grabbed Dallas's hand like they always did after good football plays. Then they slapped each other on the back. For a moment, Dallas's hand rested on Russell's red pack. Russell watched Dallas return to the green team. Dallas gave them all a thumbs up, and Russell's friends looked at him and waved. They were all smiling, which was weird. They never smiled before a game. They were all business. You know those guys, Dev asked. Yeah, Russell admitted. They're my friends from football. How come you're on our team? Sage wondered. Got me. But I am, Russell said. He caught Sage staring at him, studying his face. Look, Bull's coming, Mari whispered. The team instinctively moved into tighter clusters. The yellow team, 2 girls and 2 boys, wore matching yellow-colored polo shirts and khaki shorts. Next to the yellow team, the blue team looked like a varsity sports photo. They were all in athletic shorts and tanks with long, strong arms and legs. And the purple and orange teams were gathered closer to the podium. To Russell, the orange team looked more like the red team, a good mix. The purple team was all girls. The green team was all boys. Even as he tried to get a sense of the different teams, Russell realized they had one thing in common. They all wanted to win. Morning, Bull announced from behind his tree podium, and a very good morning it is. He paused as a few kids mumbled a response. Excuse me, we are about to race in the wildlife. Is it good morning or not? Yeah! The contestants cheered. The sound seemed to stay in the clearing, echoing back on the small crowd. Well, you have your gear, you know the rules, so there's no reason not to start. Now punch the answer to the first clue into your hand cams and get going. He paused and tipped his fedora forward for effect. The teams waited for his cue. What's the name of the life source that snakes through the rainforest all the way to the Atlantic Ocean? Answer it, and go.
Creature feature.
Creature feature, squirrel cuckoo. Scientific name, Paella cayana. It's a type of bird, range from Mexico to Argentina and Uruguay and on Trinidad. The food large insects, including caterpillars and wasps, sometimes spiders, small lizards, and cocoa beans, rarely fruit. This cuckoo bird gets its name from its habit of running along tree limbs. It likes to jump from branch to branch, much like a squirrel. It doesn't fly very often. The squirrel cuckoo nests high in the tree.